Hola, bon dia from the Madeira Veggie Patch. Actually, I'm not at the Veggie Patch. I'm in my wife's little corner. This is her little garden in one part of the house. And I'm talking to you here because my Veggie Patch is a little bit disorganized. I must confess to you this. I've gone through a very, very rough August and September in terms of motivation. I can't quite explain why I've lost the motivation. I've been a little bit fed up actually. I just couldn't be bothered to come down into the garden and work the Veggie Patch, maintain it. First of all, it got quite hot here. I just couldn't get the motivation I needed to work in the garden, so I've neglected it a little bit, and it's in a bad state. It's not in a bad state, it's in a poor way. So I'm going to go and show you what I've done. My motivation is coming back up. I spoke with other people, other gardeners, some of the folks on YouTube have also talked about the same kind of thing. And apparently, it is a common ailment to come to summer and just see your interest wither a little bit in the garden. And a lot of them were complaining that they were fed up and lacked motivation to go in the garden. So after talking to some of them and listening to some of their stories, it turns out that one of the cures is redesigning or having purpose again for the second part of the year, for the autumn planting and for the winter that comes. There's a lot of stuff to do, but I just couldn't get going. So planning what you're going to do, and my cat, and having an idea of what you want to build is restoring my energy. So I am starting to get re-engaged in the garden. I'll show you how things are, and then I'll show you how things are going to be after I've done them. Okay. Anyway, sorry about the lack of sharing the videos, but there hasn't been happening a lot in here. So let's go and have a look, okay? Okay, so let's head over to the Veggie Patch. This is a frangipani tree, a pulmonary, I think it's called, and that's our view as we head over. These are dragoeiros. These are plants that grow here in Madeira. Here's the bird of paradise, another frangipani tree. Just want to have a quick show of the view here. This view has stayed with us right through the year and right through summer, of course. It never goes away, and it is quite soul restoring. I love it. Anyway, let's get over to the Veggie Patch. Here I've got some potatoes that have been meant to have been harvested weeks ago. Two of my pumpkins. These carrots are in really poor shape. Those are my strawberries, which are in bad shape. They're still giving strawberries, but because they weren't watered enough, the plants need to be cleaned up. And then over here I have the veggie beds, veggie bed 1, 2 and 3. They still continue to produce vegetables, eggplants. I've got some corn growing in the background there in the second bed, and some leeks. And then the beans are gone in the third bed. I still have some lettuces, but they all seem to be bolting. I have to clean these up, and then I'll show you what they look like once they're organized. I've got some sweet potatoes in these pots, which I was trying to grow. You can see my lawn needs to be mowed. And then over here, I've got a blueberry tree. It's in the vase, and it needs to be trimmed. The orchard needs to be cleaned up. The fig tree at the back has been fantastic. That has given us figs all throughout the season, and I think we got about 8 to 9 kilos, but I will confirm that once we weigh it. We got them all frozen, waiting to be made into jams. The lemon trees are in poor shape. They were assailed by a pest, and I took my eye off the ball, and it suffered. So I've got some dead branches. It's got to be cleaned up. It's about 3-year-old, this tree. Over here, this is a orange tree. from Valencian orange tree. It's doing all right. It needs to be cleaned up. I've got another lemon tree here, different type of lemon that's taken a beating, also assailed by pests. You can see the tree's in bad shape. Got bugs, ants, aphids, and I have to get it cleaned up. See if I can get it to recover. I think I can. I have 3 apple trees here in the middle of the growth. The apple trees have actually done very well. Got a nice little spider's web which I have to get rid of. So the apple trees have done nicely, but the ground growth, the ground cover has gone bananas, to be sure. I have to clean this up as well. And speaking of bananas, my little banana plantation is doing absolutely well. They don't need a lot of care, thank goodness. All they need is water. These haven't received enough, but even so, they're quite hardy. I've got a bunch of bananas here, which is very nice. And I've got another bunch of bananas there, which is also a nice little reward for very little work. The little pups are growing into new banana trees, and I've got to clean this area all up over the course of the rest of this month. The pawpaw tree, the main one, has continued to give us pawpaws, and it keeps growing, which has been fantastic. All it needs is water now and some fertilizer. I've got a baby pawpaw tree in the background there, hope you can see it. And I have another pawpaw tree growing here. Hopefully I can get it to jump up and join the others in terms of productivity. Stepping back a little bit, that's a rosemary bush. Look at how fantastic that looks. This is a nectarine tree. Compared to what it looked like, it's doing very well. It's a 3rd year. I have to clean it up. This tree needs to be trimmed around here on the edges. I'm not going to shape it until the winter comes, but I'm certainly going to give it a late summer pruning or trimming. Behind that we have a peach tree. This is an amazing tree in terms of the way it grows. It was also small at the beginning of summer, but it's going exactly the way I wanted. This tree has really sprung forward and leapt up. It needs to be trimmed again. I have to bring down these tall branches by about 1/3 at the top to strengthen the branch at the bottom there. I have to take out the ones that are growing inward, but I'll show you all that in a separate video. I'm very happy with our mango tree. This is a Palmer mango, and it's very frail, but it has still given fruit. We had about 18 fruit on here, but they were all fallen off because the tree was not strong enough to sustain so much fruit. And I did not want to get rid of all the mangoes, so we kept 3. Looks great. That one over here is our wonderful avocado tree. It's in the 3rd year as well, so the shape's beginning to come on very nicely. The fig tree, I better film it from a different angle. The fig tree is starting to go into the dormancy period. It's been fantastic. It's been wielding a lot of fruit. We've had a lot of harvest from here, probably 8, 9, 10 kilos. I'll confirm that when we have all the numbers in, because we're keeping a lot of it for jams, but it's starting to go. I'll show you how to trim this tree back, because we trim it right back every year, and then it's wonderful in the way it fruits, it grows and gives fruit. I'll give you a detailed tour of those. These are our cherry trees. As you can see, they've grown at different rates. That one has done a similar job as the peach tree over there. But this one is growing, but it's growing more slowly. So it might be the variety, it might be the location, but it's had the similar treatment in terms of fertilization and compost. I think that's it. I have another fig tree growing here. Just to wrap that up, it's a small little shoot. This is a different fig. It's supposed to be much sweeter than the one I've just shown you. And then I've got some dragon fruit growing in these vases, and we are trying to see if we can get them tied up nicely shaped, and then to give some fruit. So let me clean all this up, and I will show you what it looks like afterwards. once it's got a semblance of order. I think that's it for now. Quick short video. I really hope you can forgive my lack of interest in this thing. It's not being anything deliberate. It's just I haven't had the energy and the motivation to come out. So I'm going to fix that shortly and start putting videos out. Hopefully you'll enjoy them again. And if you do, hit the like, press subscribe, and ring the bell so that you will be alerted when my new videos start to come out again. Have a good one.